And we're fucking live here for another episode of The Fat with me, Jake, Kenny, and two members of The Buoys. We've got Courtney and Zoe. How you guys doing?
Brilliant.
So good.
Bloody brilliant.
Very
Smiling.
fresh.
Yeah.
And fresh off stage.
Yeah, my,
stoked.
my cheeks are still pink. My pinks
pinks
are
are cheeky.
Shit.
Yeah, cheeky
Yeah, off the
pinks.
great side.
Fair enough. Before we get too deep into this, just a couple of shouts to our amazing sponsors. We've got all of the fucking booze in the world. Thanks, Young Henry's.
Spoiled.
Yeah, the greatest of the craft brews in Australia. P&V for all your natural wine needs on Enmore Road in Sydney. And we got massive love from our whiskey toting friends at Jamson. Thank you, big love. Without you, we couldn't be doing this. So thank you. Let's get on with the rest of it. You've just played our second episode of the Empty Room Sessions. How was it?
So fucking good.
That was like running a fucking marathon.
You know what?
I
Actually,
haven't done the high kicks and shit in a long time.
Yes.
So I'm like,
I was mid-song thinking, I've gotten so unfit.
I know.
yeah, I felt a bit
Yeah.
fucking chat.
But it was amazing.
Match fit.
It was great.
It was really good fun.
It's
I feel
amazing. I
really
tell you,
amped
it's so. I was talking to Jake at the end there. I'm just like, there's such a good. We just put the first one of these. We've only done one pre sort of lockdown with the boys from Coffin a few weeks ago, and we just sort of put it out today. There's a real beautiful reaction around it, and then just watching you finish and just smiling like ear to ear, like it's just there's a good energy about it. It's cool. Like, and, you know, we were talking earlier about not, you know. There's a need for this as well, but the sort of boredom around the live streaming of music going around and like this, or the lack of energy around it. Like it's great. Like do your thing, of course, but it's, you know, kind of over it now. It's like that missing that magic of a live performance, which is
100%.
fucking so good to see here. And we're not
you
even
just brought to the fucking stage like there was there was 350 kids going mental. So thank you. It's
without
so
even
cool to see.
it's fucking great. Thank you so much. It was
No,
really
thanks
great.
for having us.
I know, that was
haven't felt this good in so long. And like I'm a positive person, but there's a different feeling you get from playing a show. And I just feeling all of that right now.
Well, it's just like, it's like a normal thing. Like we went from like, well, we were pretty much on tour. We were on tour with Spacey.
Mid-tour.
And then it just cut off and we were all just like, all right, well, see you when we freaking see you.
And then I didn't see you girls for 2 months.
Yeah.
And that's big because we see each other like 3-4 times a week.
Yeah.
What's it been like? What's the absence been like of playing live and just also like you said the camaraderie of being together in a in a van or in a shitty hotel room? Like how has that separation affected you guys?
Well, I mean, it's hard because you communicate on like you can only communicate by like Facebook Messenger, like group chat and stuff like that, and it's just not the same. Like
No.
You get the boring moments, whereas when you're on tour with each other every day, you get the boring moments, the
egg
fun
farts.
moments, the good moments. Courtney's egg farts, which seriously,
yeah,
like,
I mean, that got a bit out of control. I didn't mean to do it either. It was just like, there was something wrong. Like,
There's
there's something wrong there.
We were
How
talking
good's
about
that?
farts yesterday. How they can
I don't know, but
sometimes smell delicious.
it's also super weird because like I got pretty in my head, like, and then all over the TV it was just like COVID, 24/7.
everywhere.
I started just like I was like I need to get that fuck out of Sydney, and then I took off with my girlfriend to Nimbin for 3 weeks, and that was just like okay, just get. I can't play music, I can't be with my people, but I can at least be like away from all that noise.
Yeah,
so,
and a bit of nature.
because it's just like you get into your routine of just like you're rehearsing once, twice a week, and then you're going on tour, and then it kind of all just fell apart. And
it just feels weird when your energy's at 210 and then it goes down to 5.
yeah.
And then ramping it back up because I walked up the stairs and you guys were rehearsing for the show and no lights were on yet, and it was kind of you guys were just warming up, and then all of a sudden, like Callum turned the lights on and the fucking smoke machine came on, and you guys fucking changed. And it was just really, I was just like, whoa, this is the whole mood of the venue just changed, and it's really incredible to kind of to be a part of seeing, of feeling something like that, and then noticing there's like everyone's missed live music, but that real kind of like soul kind of punch that hits you like, why do we love it? What is it about it? And it's not just about me and him like standing in this room, but you could see it on your faces and in your actual bodies. It's just like bang.
It's the change of the lights. It's getting sweaty.
Yeah, I think it's just the whole like
It's just all of those tactile things put
volume.
together.
Did you feel
the
that
volume.
adrenaline
And the
kick
volume,
in?
absolutely.
Yeah. As soon as that smoke machine came, I was like, all right, this is like, I got G'd up just over the smoke machine. I was like, we're fucking going, guys.
For me, it's when I feel the vibration of the kick drum in my chest.
Yeah, right.
I'm like,
let's fucking do it.
Yeah.
Fucking yeah, mate. Cop that, yeah.
It is. Well, the drum's a big thing because it's when you listen to music, you know, people say, "Oh, it was just like the record," but the one thing that's never recreated on a record is that the bass drum.
Yes,
just
of what you feel like when it's right
vibrating
there
through the whole room.
Yeah,
yeah.
Like even in a festival, and we do a lot of music festivals on the food side, and you turn up and people are rehearsing, whether it's a bass guitar or a drum. Like people just when they're setting up in the late morning or whatever, it's like doop, 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 and it's just like through the whole fucking field. Like
insane, hey?
you know where you are at that point.
That pre-pinger energy. It is.
All right,
It's
guys.
What's too old for pingers? we shared a tab of acid once, and that was enough.
Hang on. What's that? You're trying to pass off it. Yeah. Enough.
We did it, and we watched Sigur Rós. It was one of the coolest things.
Oh,
that's
man.
pretty much
Jesus.
What music's been getting you guys through the last little while? What have you been listening to? Because I'm really interested in just, you know, how people, like, obviously it's, you know, the music that affects you in such a strange time will absolutely last with you for the entire life. Like, you can have a favorite album when everything's kind of cool, but when you're going through the shittest breakup in the world, that album will fucking
Sticks
just
with you.
like somewhere else. So what's been the Corona fucking hits?
I've gone nostalgia.
Yeah.
I've gone complete nostalgia. I've been listening to early 2000s indie music.
Like what?
Like I've been listening to Interpol. I mean, Interpol have always been one of my favorite bands.
What a band.
But like, I think I've just been listening and reaping their whole discography.
That's cool.
And so I think I always listen to Interpol when I need like familiarity. So
Yeah.
That's great.
it. People are cooking like that. People are cooking the stuff, the comfort foods.
yeah.
I haven't really
I've been eating
nested.
so many. I just can't stop ordering in burgers. Chicken burgers.
Burgers.
I'm the opposite, man. I've been cooking a shitload.
I don't have time.
And my cooking music is generally like, it's super weird. Like, I'll go home, cook heap, like for 2 hours or whatever, and I'll just put on like, I've been listening to heaps of like instrumental kind of lo-fi shit and just like a lot of like kind of hip hop beats and stuff like that. And then kind of I'll randomly like, I've been listening to a shitload of Sublime. Like, I've just been smashing out
really?
Sublime. Yeah.
That's
Lots
so
of
different to
Sublime. I
my
love it.
cooking music. I listen to Fats Domino when I cook.
It's like instrumental music and Sublime. That's been like the last like
What
2.5 months.
What are you guys cooking to this
Lots
music?
of curry. I've been smashing out like pizzas and stuff.
I made fresh
Making
pasta the other
fresh
night.
pizza.
It changed my life. I'm going to
How
make
was it?
gnocchi next week as well.
Yeah,
I've
that's a test,
But
that
I cook
one.
a lot of risotto. And
Yeah. Oh, OMG. Yeah.
I like things that take time.
Yeah,
Yeah, you got it. Yeah.
You gotta put the time into the like risotto. Is all about that stock. You know,
Oh
like
my
a-
God.
You have to
dude.
keep stirring.
Yeah,
And you
Gotta
have to
keep
stock and
stirring.
technique.
add everything at the right amount and the right time.
Yeah, it's a strange thing that about like what this has done. Like I think it's interesting. Like that, you know, people are like you know trying to bake their own bread, and it's a wonderful thing. And I think that it's tied more to comfort than outcome.
Yeah.
It's tied to the process rather than the
Absolutely.
outcome, because I tell you 100%, no one's bread is as good as the fuckers at Cherry Moon or at Iggy's. It's just not going to happen in your fucking home oven or with your fucking home start. It's not going to be a thing.
No.
It's
But your house full of bread smell,
Yeah.
that's something that's going to bring a deep level of comfort to
Also,
someone.
just giving your energy to something
Yeah.
that keeps your
Yeah.
brain occupied, and that cathartic nature of like working into something that you know is going to produce energy that you eat and turn into productivity.
and food's
Yeah.
kind of like music like that as well, right? Like writing music, not just consuming, but
Yeah,
writing.
yeah.
But writing, yeah.
What's
I love
been
cooking.
what's
Cooking's great.
what's been happening with you guys as far as writing's concerned? We just heard a new single, but in this period, have you guys been writing a lot of music as well? I know you've been separated, but just individually, have you been doing that?
We've
often?
definitely been writing individually, and we have a Dropbox that we pop things in.
How does that work?
I've
always been like,
actually it's so hard. Like
Yeah. Because how do you normally write? How would
I
you
heard like
normally write
Radiohead
together?
did half an album
Well,
like that.
it sort of depends. Like sometimes Zoe will come with like a whole like structure and shell of a song,
Yeah.
and then we'll just kind of jam it out together.
Yeah.
And
Pieces together.
Just
after.
figure it out that way.
Yeah.
Other times it's like we've just maybe like Zoe's just brought like maybe just like the general like main chord progression or something, and then like Hillary will just come in and like I can figure out a riff and stuff. So
Yeah.
kind
it's
of changes. Yeah.
it always ties around us being together, though.
Yeah.
So it's been really hard. I've been sitting on a bank of songs for the last 3 or 4 months, and there were 2 of them that I didn't want to change. They're complete songs, and then there were a few that it's like, okay, I've got like a skeleton here, but I don't know what to do with it. And for some reason, the magic only happens when we're with each other. And now that we can legally meet up with each other in the last 7 days, we've banged out 3 more songs.
Isn't that fucking weird?
So,
oh my god!
Have you guys
we can legally hang out with each other? Like, when, you know what I mean? Like, oh, toilet paper is now obsolete, and it's illegal to hang out with each other. Like,
cut up your flannelette sheets and wipe your ass with that.
do you know how stressful it is
just
living in a
like
household with 3 menstruating women and not being able to find toilet paper?
Period, man.
No,
that would
Period.
suck.
I don't know
That would
anything about
suck.
that.
Oh, you don't?
No, I grew up with 2. I grew up with 2 women.
There you go.
My sister and my mum. But
The old
I was too young.
old
to- I
menstrual
just went all over
cycle.
my
I have no
head.
idea. I find it like interesting the way everyone just straight away just fucking behaved themselves. Because apart from reading the odd thing, but like someone got fined, some like fuckwits on Bondi Beach, like 10 of them hanging out, like got fined. Other than that, I've never heard a story of anyone, like not one cop has been into any of our venues. Like no one goes in to check on the no people, 10 people in houses.
Yeah.
Like no one's
They will
getting
now.
done, but everyone just went,
my
we'll
god!
fucking abide by the rules.
That's
like,
what makes me so happy.
Yeah.
And like so proud of everyone. It's just that I don't really know anyone who's just outright gone and said, I'm going to ignore the
Yeah.
rules.
'Cause they're
Everyone's
fucking
just said, I've just got to do it and I'm going to do it.
There's an
because
element
we get
of
out of
public
it together.
shaming, right?
The better we act, the better we are together, or like behaving ourselves, the quicker we get out of it. And
Absolutely.
it was nice to see. It's like such a sense of community and humbling and like empathy towards each other. Like there's a really, and hopefully the hangover for that lasts longer than normal. You know what I mean? Like it's because I'm more worried about things will get back to regular normal real quick and people just become real cunty again.
Well,
to each other.
yeah, that's my worry. Is that like no one will like. I feel like there's like a big lesson to learn from like this whole freaking 2-3 months, and I think
Be kind.
if it,
Do you think we're learning it? Or we
appreciate
will learn
Mother
it,
Earth,
though?
man. Like fuck, like
I think
everything.
people who were immediately affected by this, for sure, will remember what it's like to be going through this group and mass, event together.
Yeah.
And hopefully carry that through with their emotions. But I also think it's naturally human to forget about the past. It'll be
We've kind of got to kind of, we've got to compartmentalize to succeed. Otherwise,
and to survive.
otherwise it's just overwhelming.
You know, you talk to all your friends and they're like, it's really great. The community's staying positive. We're all treating each other with respect. This is lovely. And then you think, I love like trying to remind people, it's like, oh, do you remember like how a few weeks ago our whole country was on fire?
Yeah.
well, that's what I mean.
People forget that happened. And then you just go like, oh, whoa, yeah.
Yeah, no, I got an email about the
swept under the
koalas
rug.
recently, like in the last 3 days, and like koalas dropped to the bottom of my priority list when COVID hit. Like I've got 2 kids, I've got fucking elderly grandparents, I've got elderly parents.
Yeah.
Like I've got myself. I'm not the picture of health, and so things become really quickly realigned. You're like, whoa, the time that I had for a really worthwhile cause like the wildlife of Australia drops to the bottom of the list so quickly when our own kind of species is threatened the way it's been. But at the same time, I feel like there's something lost still, because for me there was a real moment of fuck no, but I wish, but I just cannot support this anymore because I've got kids and they need to go to school and feed, and we're looking down the barrel of a fucking depression. And there is a bit of a disconnect. When you said before, Connie, like the idea that we live with Mother Earth and we're going to need to respect her and or whatever you want to call it, but Gaia, motherfucker.
Gaia.
But there's also a point where it's like, well, are we the fucking disease? Are we the problem? But that doesn't really affect the way I feel about my kids.
Well, exactly.
Even if I can look at it and go, no, humans are the fucking problem. There's too many of us and we're causing all the problems. The reality is my relationship to my kids immediately stops that conversation from going any further.
Exactly, but that is I can't remember the dude's name, but the pyramid of needs, and it's because we were really at the top of this pyramid where we had food, shelter, water, we had entertainment, we had love and friendship, and then we even could go further than that where we had material possession. And then as soon as that all gets stripped away from you, you hit the base of the pyramid again and you're like, okay, food, shelter, what do I do? And so that's why you're like, okay, koalas aren't my priority right now. And then at the base of your pyramid, being a parent, your kids come first. So food, shelter becomes food, shelter for my kids, and then maybe food, shelter for me.
And then everything else. Yeah.
And we've just been rapidly bunked down to the bottom of this like essential needs as human beings and what our psychology needs.
Yeah,
so true.
And you're right. What you said earlier about that idea that people forget. Like, if you look so 1945, end of World War II, Vietnam, all that shit. Skip to the 80s and fucking Wall Street exists. You know what I mean? Like, just like, I'm the most important thing in this fucking world.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And it's crazy, like, because I was just thinking now, oh, wow, isn't it crazy and unprecedented how we've gone from the tip of the pyramid down to the base? But it is cyclical. It happens in history, and
our link
it will
to
continue to do that.
our link is so tenuous. Like like someone just come along and just go, pah. Something can come along and go pah, at any time, and we just
and then we just pop down.
Yeah.
But we do that because freaking capitalism. And can we just not?
Yeah, well, look, that's I think
That's a whole
The whole other
that's
another podcast.
yeah, it is a whole other podcast, but we can talk about it real quick. Fuck it.
Yeah.
We're with the boys.
Yeah, we're
We're a part of the
deep, guys.
Yeah, let's do it. We're with the
Oh,
boys.
man.
Let's fucking do it.
People ran towards socialism straight away.
Yes.
And then they're pissed off and it doesn't really exist. And they've not voted for it because they wanted to get better, lower taxes for their bracket.
Exactly.
And then you look at America as the king of capitalism, and their fucking bill, their bill at the end of this is going to be fucking outrageous because they're like, it's dog eat dog in America. Now they got to pay for the poor, and they can't afford it.
Yeah.
And it's
just because they didn't prepare and live a
Oh.
lifestyle
Didn't even give a fuck.
that supports the vulnerable when they need it.
Yeah.
Well, that's
That
it. Like,
simple.
but there's and I'm going to come out and defend capitalism a little bit here because I think the capitalism is responsible for the greatest lifting of poverty ever. And like where we are in the last 150 years as a society, it has lifted just so many people out of poverty, and socialist regimes have just literally destroyed thriving economies and population. It's a fucking disaster. But the problem with the kind of capitalism that we've been exposed to less in Australia, because we have this amazingly well constructed social welfare system that's underlines there's still a role for government. Like Ayn Rand's idea of fucking just get rid of all government, it's fucked, the markets will sort it out. That is so fucked.
Yeah.
Whereas there is a role for, the Scando countries and the Australian and New Zealand system where there is capitalism. The free market is encouraged. However, there is always a role for the government to go, no, our vulnerable, like you said, our vulnerable are protected. And that kind of, I don't know what they're calling it, like, democratic fucking capitalism or whatever Sanders was calling it. But, I think there's a real role to kind of look at the goods of capitalism and kind of go, right, we can actually change this. We can change the model that's actually done amazing good for us.
Things,
but also amend it because there's such fucking fundamental problems at the heart of it that it's within our power to change.
That's the thing, and each structure looks at the distribution of wealth, and I think what capitalism is getting wrong is just that top bracket need to share the wealth a bit more, and that's what would make maybe capitalism serve the greater population. If those people that are sitting on mounds of disposable money,
wealth inequality is the big problem of the age outside of the the ecological and the environmental. It's like inequality needs a solution in the same way climate change.
There's a difference between economy and government, really. Like there should be a split. Economy is capitalism aspect, but government should be sort of rounding that out. And the idea of the whole America conversation, run the country like a business. That was like Trump's whole thing on it. And then you're like, that's the worst idea ever. Because businesses are about making money, where it's like, you got to care about the people and the vulnerable people. Like this should be run like a charity. Like this should, the money goes where it needs to be. And the commerce and the capitalism
should be run
that survives over there. That survives over there. And then if you look in Scandinavia, just shows the world up really. Like they run it so well. Like their ability to sort of spread wealth. And everyone's fucking happy, and they and they live by the fucking rules all the time. It's like no one steps out of it because they know it's for the best.
Yeah,
like when they get told to do something, they're like, that's the best for the country, so we'll just do that.
I think we're very lucky. Like one thing we are I feel like we should all be very blessed that we do have is the fact that we do have social welfare in terms of Medicare and Centrelink and stuff, because honestly, we'd be fucking Brazil right now with a president that's just my people go dumpster diving, man. They're all good. This coronavirus thing won't even hurt them. I thought that, how can you as a person with a president like that go and blindly follow him after all of this. Like, he doesn't give a shit about anyone in his country, and their case is now like almost at 200,000.
Yeah, and that's
He
when you
hasn't
wonder
done a thing there.
the basis of politics in that sense.
Like,
when how the fuck can someone like that become a ruler of a country?
How can you follow that? How can you follow that? Like, I
will-
just don't know.
I will maybe be okay/happy with our welfare system if they keep New Start doubled. But until that,
Well, yeah.
then it's not good enough.
Yeah, I agree. Like
I think we're lucky, but it definitely can be.
Yeah.
it should
There's
be
obviously,
It can't remain where it was. It was a
Yeah.
fucking disgrace, to be honest. And you know, like I don't think anyone's gonna assume that the JobKeeper kind of vibe, that stimulus, should continue or can continue. But the up to the dollar, the job seeker, whatever the marketing teams come up with these days. You know, like
Whatever Scotty came
go
up
Yeah,
with.
yeah, fucking, yep.
cunt.
Anyway.
I saw this awesome
that.
meme the other day, and it was like, I don't want a prime minister who's shit at McDonald's. I want a woman who perioded in her pants. I was like, yes, I want a woman who perioded in her white suit, because I have.
I've done that too, actually, too. Yeah. I feel ya.
Yeah, I feel. Yeah, everybody's all the women's just going, yes, fucking, I'll vote for you. You know what? I'll vote for you too.
Fuck yeah.
I've never perioded in my white pants. Not yet. Not just yet.
I'm sure you shat yourself a few times. Right?
Yeah, very
It
close.
was just
No, once when I was like 10 years old, I shat myself. This little fucking cunt at the end of my street wouldn't let me shit in his toilet. We were playing basketball together. I had to walk up the road, and just as I was getting in my front door,
it
shat
came
myself.
out. It came
My
out.
mum's like, "What are you doing?" And I was like, and I was just like, I just pooed in my pants. It was the worst. My daughter knows that story, and she's like, Dad, can you tell me that story where you pooed in your pants? Oh, fuck.
It starts filming you.
Sorry, babe.
Uploaded to TikTok. You scallywag, get out of here.
Oh, Jesus.
I thought you would
That's
not
great.
be afraid of a garden shit for sure.
Oh man,
Like
I
straight
didn't.
in
I was
behind.
terrified of shitting myself. I don't know what. I once filled up a water pistol with my own piss and like followed all the kids in my
That
like,
is.
and I was swimming, and I had to go and apologize. My parents found out. I had to go and apologize to all of the parents.
You were that boy.
I had to go knock on the door and go, "I'm so sorry. This is what
I squirted my
weed-
piss at
I
your
weed-
kid.
But that is also amazing.
in this handgun," and I squirted, and they were just like, "Get out!"
But they'd be like,
That
we
is great.
expected nothing less of you.
yeah. I was a good boy then. I was a very different man. Hey, listen, being musicians, there's obviously, everyone's talking about the way that everything's going to be, like this COVID shit's going to affect our, different industries.
Yeah.
You guys are frontline musicians. I know that, you have other jobs maybe, but, this is kind of your industry. Probably, I'm assuming this is the industry that you find, like, if you had to fill out a visa form, what are you? I'm a fucking muso.
Yeah.
What do you think is going to happen?
Oh.
What's your
I
intuition?
feel like you're better at answering that question, because mine's actually a catch-22. Is that the right phrase? Catch-22?
Yeah, so
I don't
yeah,
know.
yeah. It's
I'll wait till you say it.
I'm a musician and a healthcare worker.
Okay.
So
well, thank you so much. By
One
the way.
industry has just gone kapel, and the other industry has just gone like skyrocket.
yeah.
So my beautiful balance scales have just been completely rocked.
Yeah.
For music though, like
I don't know. Yeah,
adapt?
I'm on the other thing because it's like the last 10 years has literally just been like being in bands and shit and gigging, and that's
Connor's
it.
a full-time musician.
Yeah, like I don't
so-
do like I do have like side hustles and stuff. Like I just got myself a gardening job 2 days ago, which is actually going to pay me, and I get to be outdoors and hang out with plants, so that's cool. But like, yeah, I honestly have no idea, because until we can literally have a room full of people,
Yeah.
until that's allowed,
Yeah.
like we're just
Even
kind
a-
of sitting ducks, I guess.
Even
and-
allowed, but like, so for example, if you could have 100 people in a room
Yeah.
legally, that'd be
Yeah.
great. But is it financially viable to fly to Perth to play to 100 people?
No.
Probably not.
Unlikely.
And that's
I think like at this stage, like the best where it's gonna be is Sydney shows,
Yeah.
whatever the limit's gonna be.
I was thinking that, like the thing that's going to pop off
whatever.
with all of this is like our local scene is.
Homegrown.
I mean,
Well, that's the
we're
thing.
so lucky. Our local scene was already thriving, so it's just going to get a million times better. But
Yeah.
I want to see like house parties and like underground gigs happen too. And I think everything's just going to start happening because we're going to have smaller numbers.
Yeah, there'll be
Yeah.
this condensing, like you've touched on it more, like so that this idea that international touring off the cards for probably 18, 24 months.
Yeah.
So there's no big bands coming in. So this is all about Australia for the foreseeable.
Yeah.
You know, Melbourne, Sydney, Brisbane, maybe, but Perth probably out of the equation.
And now,
no.
like Falls are doing an all Australian lineup.
Yeah.
Which is
It'd be
sick.
interesting to see if it comes off though.
Yeah.
You know, like, I mean,
Yeah.
If it's allowed by then.
20,000 people, like
Yeah.
That's a lot of
it's
people.
a fucking great deal of it. There's a big jump from
Totally.
100
And
or
Splendor,
500.
is that even a thing?
I feel
Not
like
this year.
It's not.
I feel like
No,
one
okay, it's
thing,
not. Yeah, I don't think it's.
one
not.
thing that we can
talked about October. Sorry.
Wait, so like, because like they moved it to October, but
They
is
moved
it
it to
actually
October.
cancelled?
But
No, I haven't heard anything.
Haven't heard anything, but
It's
my,
not
my
cancelled.
my vibe is it's not going to happen.
I
It's
was
just
gonna
it's
go
not. I don't think
because
it's going to happen.
I went from like
It's heartbreaking.
being a little young tot, and I hadn't gone for a couple of years, and now I was going to go back to Splendor for the first time in
Are you-
ages.
were you guys
and
playing?
it's cancelled. Oh, no.
no,
Okay.
no,
No.
we were.
That would have been more heartbreaking. I
Yeah,
mean,
actually,
just a
that's
few
true.
months ago, we were meant to play at Lost Paradise, and that got cancelled because of the
Yeah.
bushfires. Now all of our friends are having like wanting to go to South by or all of these
Yeah.
festivals that are being
We were
cancelled.
meant to be at South by this year cooking,
Oh,
and
man.
we
Yeah,
nearly
right.
we nearly went, and
Fuck,
even after they
36
cancelled
hours.
it, we pulled the pin like a few 36 hours before with our flights. They cancelled the whole thing. We were like, fuck, we'll just go and hang out in New Orleans and Austin and have a good time. And then Trump shut the borders to Europe, and we're like, all right, let's not do that.
Yeah,
We're not
big
doing
deal.
that anymore.
I ain't getting
Yeah.
stuck in some fucking
nobody
Donald Trump
having a good
internment
time
there
right
camp.
now.
Yeah, because you're looking at me like, there's nothing in America yet. And we're like, thank fuck we never went to
Yeah, and they,
Seriously,
like,
man.
you end up like with a baby, like in the cage with the babies.
that.
Oh, dude.
Fuck, I
We
know.
would have been quarantined the way back.
I would have looked after your babies. I would have given you a little bit of love, you little
Jeez.
babies.
But it's
Poor little
it's
babies.
a bit of a strange time, I think, for well, I guess like people like myself who like literally have just lived their lives through music and sort of nothing else. Where we're all just kind of sitting around waiting for that
Has
moment
this-
where we can play something. And I think, like you said, it's all going to be about Aussie music and our local scene.
And house parties and that might become a thing, or little sort of vigilante show. Or
I'd
whatever.
love that
Yeah.
shit to become a thing again. That shit is
Well,
fire.
I think because like anyone that can play 5,000 cap rooms are going to play 500 cap rooms. 'Cause
Yeah.
there's nothing else they can do.
Exactly.
So it condenses it all again. So the people that could do 100 cap show, like just going to, I don't know, start fucking doing underground
Speaking
parties.
of, like, only a few on Valentine's Day when we played here at the Lansdowne with Violent Soho,
Yeah.
What a show.
they could book out a million like,
Versions of
huge
that.
venues.
Yeah.
And we played an amazing intimate show at the Lansdowne. And so, like, shit like that will just keep happening.
Yeah,
I
I
think
think it's fucking cool.
I think there's also going to be a role for like just the whole game to change as far as like the way that venues and audiences react to inside venues where they're like the boys come and played 2 nights at the Lansdowne, not 3, not 1.
Yeah.
And they're so and they're booking out whole weeks or weekends or whatever week and it's going to put a lot of pressure on the venues to choose correctly and program correctly, but also I think it's going to put a really great pressure on the city
Yeah.
to actually open more venues.
Yeah.
Because if we're, for the next 18 months, we've got a limit of 100, 150 people, whatever it is, if there's no vaccine, it looks like it'll probably continue like that in a space like this. And so that immediate action of having a single band who's got a great following, being able to sell 300 tickets, they're going to want to sell, they're going to want to take $300 tickets over 3 days because it's better than 100 tickets, in each city.
Yeah, in each-
Because the
yeah,
travel
for
doesn't
sure.
make sense. You can lock down in one place
Yeah.
if you're traveling up and down the East
That's
Coast.
so true.
And you lock it down. And I think there's going to be some creative thinking around that. But that the whole world is, when you can't get in to play at the Lansdowne, but you're a band that should play at the Lansdowne, but it's booked out because of that sort of booking arrangement. Number one, it's going to push shows to Sundays and Mondays, which is great for Sydney nightlife.
Totally.
But also, I hope that it actually puts some energy into young people to kind of go, fuck, we need more venues. Let's open one. Because,
Yeah.
we're just starved in Sydney for venues. And you as musicians know that more than anyone else, you know.
Yeah.
I remember when the Annandale was a thing, and like I remember being like 17, and they had like everything from like under 18s band comps and everything going on there, and that place was just like firing. And then it hit like 2013, and then everything just started going to shit.
What do you think happened? Well, I mean, it wasn't just a lockout laws. I don't think it was just a lockout laws. I felt like it was happening.
People get complacent.
Well, but yeah, the giving up band rooms to pokies, and then I think at the Annandale there was like the people putting up blocks of flats, and then residents complaining about noise and all that shit. You're like, this is a Sydney iconic venue. Like, shut the fuck up.
What are you doing? Like, why are you putting flats there? Like, what?
Because he did the sell the brick campaign. Remember, like they're like selling bricks just to sort of like
keep it together.
Yeah.
Pay the legal bills, I think they were.
Yeah, man. Like, fuck, that was full on. And and it got them nowhere. I think the boys they got another pub. Hopefully it sort of
They tried to even I remember they were even trying to think of putting in a block of units next to the botany at one point as well. Like, just some weird stuff.
This is
like,
the thing. It's just down to legislation. If you make it law that when you build a property, it has to be soundproofed, then people have to do it. And then you won't end up with this problem.
Yeah,
people moving in next to some hectic venue with like a newborn baby, and they're just like, I'm sorry, but I'm going to actually complain for the next 3 weeks that I'm here until you guys close down. I'm an idiot. I moved next to a fucking venue.
Yeah, and they're really proud of it. They're like, I want to shut you down.
10 years ago, everyone would have just been like, fuck off.
You fucking go away.
Fucking loser.
Get out.
What are you talking about? Get the fuck out of my pub. Like, stop talking to me.
We're pretty lucky. Well, not, I mean, this venue, this is soundproof here, but it's loud as fuck out there. We've had like a handful of complaints from the residents over there, and it was always at like 2, 3 a.m. on a Monday or a Tuesday morning from the Reggae Monday night. Yeah. And the people complaining like, I'm really sorry, but it's 2 a.m. on a Monday, and we're like, we get it. Like, the bass is just like running through that
kids
door.
going fucking crazy.
Yeah.
They just fucking all pile out the side doors, doing fucking running up and down the side street on a Monday night. On Friday night, no, we never got a complaint at the Lansdowne on Friday. And there's wilder that has ever gotten here. Never a complaint because they're good sports around the area. Yeah, but Monday 2 a.m. people are like, fucking go to sleep. But at the same time,
whatever.
I mean, look, that's for us to manage it. That's the same the world over. Monday night, fucking 2 a.m. is kind of a little sacred to most people, unless you're living right, in the middle of New York City, and then you're still going to fucking put your head out the fucking door and throw something at people and scream out, shut the fuck up.
Shut up.
Yeah, exactly. But Sydney's changing, I think, like the attitudes towards live music. I think people kind of like, especially the councillors in Sydney City and a lot of the politicians, they saw what happened. It wasn't just those random smatterings of gatherings like Keep Sydney Open rallies. It was the constant petitioning and the constant noise and the disgruntlement and then the loss of revenue and vibrancy in our fucking town, which they were just like, whoa, hang on a second. The arts actually mean something? They've guided us through like centuries with their like poetry and their artistry, and then in 2010 we can just shut it all off and everything's going to be fucking great because we've got everything. We've got trains. And
I remember reading like
infrastructure, guys. That's what matters, right?
It kills me that they see music, entertainment, arts brings in X revenue. I'm going to enforce all of these laws, which means that we will make the music, arts, entertainment industry suffer. And then X revenue disappears, and they're like, "Oh no, the economy!"
Like,
come
on.
on.
Cities like New York have like there's literally things like nighttime mayors. Like there's a mayor for the nighttime economy, like people to just sort of like to take responsibility and accountability for that and to manage that revenue and the safety of the city.
Like it exists.
You guys sound like great little capitalists, by the way. my good little capitalists over here. Make that fucking coin. But I'm really interested in the role of the artists as they navigate us through times like this. And in the lead up to this, I think that there's been a loss of urgency. It's specifically in the music community, there's been kind of like from the greater population, the way they suck in music and what's kind of put to the top, what's lauded as the most important music going around. And there's some incredible music happening all around the world. The artists are still there, but there's kind of been this kind of like flashy toy lighting and distraction away from the content of music and the role of the not just the musician as entertainment, but the role of musician as artist. I think that's because it's such a powerful thing that we've just missed out on for so long. And you see it on stage tonight. It's not just entertainment. There's a poetry. There's an artistry. It speaks. There's something numinous about it. It hits your spirit. And I'm interested in your thoughts on like how a moment like this in time, will shape it for you guys, like as artists. How you're swallowing all this in and what you're putting out from it.
I'm just constantly brainstorming of what we can do to stay in touch with people because I can't speak for everyone, but at least for me personally, the best thing about being in a band together is interacting with the people that I meet at shows.
Yeah.
So I just have been kind of rattling off, like, how can I keep in touch with those people who I enjoy their company so much and who give me so much happiness and energy? So I just kind of sit on the DMs a bit, message people, reach out all the time. And I'm kind of, we hit the live stream kind of thing. And like you said, like that glimmer and that glitter has worn off and people aren't as engaged with that anymore. So I think it's just, I've been thinking about what can we just keep doing just to stay in touch.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've been like, because I kind of enjoy like as well, like, especially with like YouTube, you can also like reach quite a cool audience, and Instagram as well.
I fucking love YouTube.
Yeah, me too.
Me and Kenny fell in love with YouTube over the last kind of 2 years, slowly, and then it's only social media.
Watch it more than anything, more than Netflix, more than
Yeah.
I watch it more than any other television. Just
And
fucking MMA
dude.
fights. And
Yeah,
stand-up comedy,
Stand-up
MMA
comedy.
fights, cool podcasts, and just weird shit. Like all of a sudden, like my feed, I'd be like some dude in the Alaskan wilderness. I'm like,
Yeah.
on a fucking 3-week
travel
binge of
vlogging and shit.
the corners of like people just isolated making fucking wooden
so
furniture.
pro now.
Yeah.
It's so pro.
My 8-year-old niece got YouTube. Oh, she'll
Ah.
kill me if I said 8-year-old. She turns 9 in a few weeks.
Did she have? What do you mean? She's got a channel.
She did a dance with her school friends, and honestly,
Give it a shout out. What
was
is it? What's the name of the
username
thing?
is so weird that I can't.
What was it? What was the name of the dance that she did? Like the title.
I don't remember the title of the video, but I think her username
Look for it up here.
is one.
What is a semicolon with a 3? Is that what
It's
is
like
it?
you remember
Like
like
an
those
emoji?
little
Like
like
the
curly
fucking-
smiley faces that you used to do in the scene days?
That shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like that, but with a winky face.
A what day? Scene days? What's a scene?
Scene. Oh my god, were you ever emo?
No.
Really?
Babe, we're all from different decades. You know.
I think I transitioned from
Oh my
from
God.
like
Everyone
child
was
to
emo.
fat man. Immediately, I was just like, I'm a child. I'm a fat guy. I don't know what happened. Yeah, I'm a dad. No, I don't know what happened in the middle there. I lost 10 years to like just drunkenness.
But I've been rocking it. I've been rocking some YouTube vlogging now. So I've been like going around with the camera and stuff and just like vlogging like rehearsals and shit and just kind of trying to capture things from like a different perspective from a musician. Like,
Yeah.
and just getting like, I'm even actually filming some of this as well. But like,
Right now, well, I haven't signed a release form, so
don't worry.
fucking
It's
baby.
Pixelate
pretty
your
much
face.
it. I'll
Yeah, and my
blur.
voice.
I'll do a back blur and yeah.
pixelate my face and my voice.
Yeah. But yeah, I've just been getting into YouTube and stuff and doing like some vlogging and trying to pull music and stuff into that as well. It's just
I'm just
add a bit of
writing.
humor and
I'm
shit
just
and
writing.
Yeah.
You're writing a lot.
and she's just writing.
Has your writing changed over the last little while, or is it starting
It
to similar?
has. Okay, and this is what fucks with me is like I like writing about my interactions with other people. All of my songs are about friendship, romance, my, bond or discord with my family. Like it's all interpersonal relationships, and I haven't been able to see people.
Yeah.
So I have nothing to write about.
Yeah.
This is why you love Interpol so much right now. You can just write about yourself. Mirror.
Exactly. But so I've been now. Sounds really cooked, but I've been getting like, or trying to think of like everyday events that I can personify and apply emotion to.
Yeah.
Of like, I couldn't open my door or whatever, and so I was like, oh. It's like when you're trying to get to know someone and they've got barriers, and I'm like, I gotta write a song about that. So, because
You find your way.
I've had decreased emotional content with my relationships and friendships that I have to kind of work with that.
Yeah.
It's hard spending time with yourself, I think, as well. It's like I started reading this book. I think it's called how to find solitude in solitude. I don't know. I remember. I'll put it up. It's by David White. He's a poet, and he's this. It's called Condolence. Or Condolences, and it's just basically an entire. It's a short book, but it's basically all about being alone,
Yeah.
and the power of it, and the mystery of it, but also like the kind of personal mastery you can achieve if you can get your fingers around loneliness and kind of and not be afraid of it.
Yeah.
Which you know, like I've got a fucking wife and 2 kids. I had 2 dogs, a fucking rabbit, and etc.
You got all the things.
You got everything, man.
I've not struggled with a lack of personal.
Yeah, everything.
There's not existing.
But I think, you know, people, I think if you wanted to put a very valid thing you could kind of say applies over a really large group of people across the entire globe is solitude.
Absolutely.
And isolation and kind of that disconnection emotionally from people.
Because there's a difference between being alone and feeling alone.
Yeah.
Very true.
Big time.
In that so many people all the time have been alone, but now they feel so fucking alone because the interactions that we're having. Exactly.
There's just nothing going on.
Interactions are starting to feel really surface level.
Yeah.
I know that like with my close friends, we talk so often. And we go through waves. It's like sometimes it's just like I feel like I may as well just be like liking a photo because our conversation is so surface level. And then a week later, we're just like getting into the depths of our raw emotions and like, I love you, bitch. And then it goes back up to shallow. So everyone's just wavering in their emotions.
Yeah.
And that's just going to happen.
There's something about physical connection that really brings you to that gets you to
100%.
that deep place so
Humans
quickly.
need that. As humans, we need it.
Miniature evolution we've gone through in the last few months.
Yeah.
Not to be the party people. We're getting a little cue card to saying that the batteries and the cameras are about to die.
Oh no!
Oh, that's cool.
They said
5 minutes left.
They got 5 minutes. That was about 4 minutes ago.
Okay, well let's wrap. Fuck you, by the way.
It's great because
I won't be hemmed in. You fucks.
It's perfect because I'm about to piss myself.
Do we have a couple of minutes left?
We'll just find these new batteries.
I'll do the Fergie Fergan thing here if I have to.
You're gonna be the next Prime Minister of Australia.
I won't say what his name is, but I met
Say
this
it.
guy who I really wanted to meet at Big Sound, this like business dude who I just was like, I froth him. He's like amazing.
Wait, what?
And
What was that?
at Big Sound. And I was so intrigued in our
Fucking tell me.
conversation and I didn't want to end it that I pissed myself while I was talking to
You
him
did not.
on the street.
You and me, we're simpatico kids.
Babe,
That's
how
so
did you
good.
leave that
to
out?
the fucking
That's a-
shit and piss fucking pants
Fucking
kid.
yeah.
Fuck.
That's so good.
And like
Amazing.
luckily I was wearing like wide leg flares, so it
Just
didn't-
ran down.
It just ran down my leg.
Damn it.
Yeah, fuck.
Into
Damn
your
it, I didn't
ponds.
get that on the Big Sound vlog. Fuck.
And as soon as you done it, you went, I gotta go.
Yeah.
Damn it.
Holy shit. Oh my gosh.
Jesus, Zoe. Pulling out the big guns there, aren't ya?
I care about
Cop
the boys.
that, well.
That's
Yeah.
how much I care
Yeah.
about the boys.
Mate, we care about the boys too. Courtney and Zoe, thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for playing
Thank
Empty
you
Room
guys so
Sessions.
much for
Thanks for
having
sitting
us.
in on our brand new podcast. And we love you and we'll have you back at any fucking time. Thank you so much.
Thank you guys so much.
Brilliant.
Take
Love
care.
you guys.
Pleasure.
Let's do it.
You. Woo.